So potentiostats are nothing but they are also electronic devices. These electronic devices are used to control the potential. Potentiostats are electronic devices which are used to control the potential, particularly in voltammetric methods. So you know the definition of voltammetry. What is voltammetry? Voltammetry is nothing but they are group of electroanalytical methods in which either the measurement of voltage or the current by controlling the potential or by controlling the current is going to be employed. So we'll be measuring the current by controlling the voltage. Controlling the voltage, they are called as voltammetry. So they belongs to dynamic methods of analysis. We have to control the potential. We have to maintain the potential difference. We have to maintain the applied potential at constant level or at different values in different increments of times, in different intervals of times. So that controlling will be done by means of potentiostats. Potentiostats will be having this circuitry diagram. Power supply device is required, a resistor is required, working electrode is required, auxiliary electrode is required, and the reference electrode is required. We will be controlling the potential of the reference electrode. That's what high impedance voltmeter is connected to the reference electrode. The potential of the reference electrode is varied, is going to be controlled. That's what the voltmeter is connected to the reference electrode. As a result of the electrochemical conversion of the analyte, means chemical reaction is occurring there. As a result of the chemical reaction, the current is started to flow. What is the amount of the current flowing? That is going to be recorded, that is going to be measured, that is going to be displayed by means of this ammeter or galvanometer. Therefore, this galvanometer or ammeter is connected to the working electrode because the analyte concentration is attributed, is signaled by either the potential or current of the working electrode. So the potential of the working electrode or the generated current is attributed by the change in concentration of the analyte. That's what the ammeter or galvanometer is connected to the working electrode. Similarly, the auxiliary electrode here, is the third electrode which is connected to the resistance, which is connected to the resistor. The resistance of the auxiliary electrode is going to be adjusted with respect to the voltage. What is the voltage needed to be adjusted in such a way that the slide wire mover or slide wire resistor can be used, can be employed. You can also propose the equations in order to relate the current and the voltage, current and the resistance in these potentiostats as we have written for galvanostats and potentiometers. So potentiometers, galvanostats and potentiostats are the electronic devices which are used to measure the potential, to control the current and to control the potential respectively. Potentiometer will be used in potentiometric analysis in order to measure the potential and the flow of zero current. Galvanostats and potentiostats are used to control the current and the potential respectively in dynamic methods where a non-zero current will be flowing through the electrical circuit. So these are about the electronic devices what we use. Okay, potentiometric methods of analysis, very important type of electroanalytical method here. So far we have discussed about how do we distinguish static methods and dynamic methods, to which group the potentiometry belongs to, or to which group voltammetric method belongs to, what do we do in static methods, what do we do in dynamic methods, we have discussed so far. So let us go forward and let us understand something about potentiometric methods. What are potentiometric methods? What do we do in potentiometric methods, and how they are originated, and what are the components required, and what are the principles we must understand during the course of potentiometric method of analysis. So you know the definition of potentiometry. It is an electroanalytical technique where the potential is going to be measured. The potential of the electrochemical cell is going to be measured under static condition. Very simple definition. And during the potentiometric method of analysis, there will be no flow of current. Even if it is flowing, only negligible. Even negligible current is flowing, we have to adjust it to zero by adjusting the resistance. So through the solution, there will be no current flowing. There must not be current flowing through the solution or through the electric circuit in potentiometry. And in the potentiometric analysis, throughout the analysis, the composition remains the same. Say in the titration of iron 2 with cerium 4, iron 2 might have been converted to iron 3, or cerium 4 has been converted to cerium 3, but composition remains same. Iron will be present as such, cerium 4 will be cerium will be present as such. Composition remains same. It is not used in qualitative analysis, but it is a very widely used technique for quantitative analysis. Potentiometry is a widely used electroanalytical technique, especially for the quantitative analysis. Okay, how it is originated? You might have heard about the Nernst equation. You are very familiar about the Nernst equation. It was invented in 1889 in the 18th century itself. So at the end of the 18th century, Nernst equation was proposed, was discovered, was invented in order to show the relationship between the potential of the solution and the concentration of the analyte. If there is a potential difference, generated, why that potential difference generated? That is because of change in concentration of the analyte. Because we will be using electrochemical cell, the electrochemical cell is containing the analyte solution. The analyte concentration has been changed. The concentration of the analyte which was present in the initial state cannot be expected once the titration is over, once the transformation is over. And that's what is the concentration of the analyte at the midpoint of the titration or at the end of the titration can be related with the potential difference in electroanalytical techniques, particularly potentiometry. So that equation is called as Nernst equation. Let us see about this Nernst equation in the forthcoming slides. So during the time of Nernst equation originating, the potentiometry was invented because it was given a beautiful relationship between the concentration of the analyte and the potential difference during the electrochemical analysis. And the other important invention is glass electrode. Glass electrode is nothing but, it is also called as pH electrode, which is used to measure the pH of the solution. How do we record the pH? You can see glass electrode is having a membrane at the tip of the electrode. That membrane is going to allow the hydrogen ions to permeate through that. So hydrogen ions will permeate through that membrane. The inside the membrane there is a solution of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion. When you immerse the glass electrode or the pH electrode into a solution containing hydrogen ions, the opposite sides of the membrane, means the glass membrane, is going to be contained with the hydrogen ion solution of different concentration, and even we can say different composition. So when the concentration of the hydrogen ion at the opposite sides of the glass membrane is different, there will be a generation of the potential difference. Definitely there will be generation of the potential difference. So that was observed by Kremer. While using this glass electrode in the year 1906. Then the work was finalized and work was progressed up to 1909 and proposed glass electrode as a pH electrode in order to measure the pH of the solution more selectively. So pH electrode or the glass electrode is having a membrane that is made by silica, sodium oxide and calcium oxide, barium oxide, lithium oxide. Dependent upon the selectivity, we can regulate the composition of the membrane. We can modify the membrane composition. Let us not bothering about that because we will be understanding that in future. So Cremer discovered glass electrode. He was started working on that in the year 1906 and he ended in 1909. Means he has completed the discovery of glass electrode in the year 1909. So this was also utilized in Nernst equation in order to relate the concentration of hydrogen ion and the potential difference. So obviously we can also relate the pH of the solution or hydrogen ion concentration with the pH and in turn with the potential difference. And another very important, very beautiful work done by Kolthoff and Sanders. These workers have proposed the use of ion selective electrodes for the determination of silver ion concentration. Ion selective electrode is also a membrane electrode, which is also going to utilize a membrane constructed by silver chloride pellets. Silver chloride pellets were used in order to construct a membrane, and that membrane was selective for silver ion. So through the membrane constructed by silver pellets, silver ion will start to access, will start to migrate, silver ion will migrate through ion selective membrane. This membrane is selective only for silver ion. So this work was proposed in 1937. So after 1937, potentiometry has started to get bigger advantages and many workers have started doing research in potentiometric methods, because we can use ion selective electrodes, we can use solid state electrodes, we can use liquid based membrane electrodes, we can use transistors as electrodes in order to complete the analysis, in order to perform the analysis. Therefore potentiometry has become widely used electroanalytical technique in order to obtain the analytical concentration of the species present in the sample, irrespective of the sample origin. It may be biological sample, it may be natural sample, it may be soil sample, it may be water sample, it may be blood sample, it may be saliva, whatever it is. So irrespective of the origin or state of the sample, the potentiometry is widely applicable for the quantitative analysis, as you can see by the history. So it was started to implement the principle of potentiometry in the year 1889, and where exactly the Nernst equation was proposed, and the Cremer proposed glass electrode in order to show the relationship between the potential difference developed at the membrane of glass and the hydrogen ion concentration. Kolthoff and Sanders proposed silver ion selective electrodes in order to show silver ion selective electrode in order to have silver ion migration through the membrane constructed by silver chloride pellet. Okay, this is about the history of potentiometry. What exactly is going to be done in potentiometry? So you know the definition of a potentiometry. It is used to measure the potential. What potential we will measure? We will measure the potential difference between working electrode and the counter electrode. Two electrodes have been immersed into the analyte solution. There will be a definite variation in the potential difference when compared to the initial stage and to the final stage, or after the addition of the titrant in the potentiometric titration. When you add 1 ml of the titrant, there is a change in the potential difference. So why it is going to be changed? Because the analyte concentration has been changed. The change in analyte concentration has been indicated by the working electrode or the indicator electrode. So the potential difference between the working or indicator electrode and the counter electrode is going to be measured in potentiometry. So in potentiometry, counter electrode is definitely called as reference electrode. Counter electrode is also called as reference electrode. Working electrode is also called as indicator electrode. Okay, you assume in a potentiometric method of analysis, you will be using an electrochemical cell. So what is electrochemical cell? How do we depict the electrochemical cell? You can look at here. In an electrochemical cell, left off and right off will be there. Left off will be called as anode and right off will be called as cathode. So conventionally, you take any electroanalytical cell or electrochemical cell belongs to electrolytic cells. Anode will be present at the left hand side and cathode will be present at the right hand side. You take two beakers. One beaker you place at left hand side and the other beaker you place at right hand side. Left side beaker filled by zinc chloride solution of concentration 0.0167 molar and the right hand side beaker filled by 0.1 molar silver nitrate. So this is rich with nitrate ion and silver ion and this is rich with zinc ion and chloride ion. So simply we can say zinc chloride solution has been immersed by zinc rod and silver nitrate solution has been immersed by silver rod. So silver rod is going to be cathode, zinc rod is going to be anode. You know the definition of a role of anode and cathode. Anode is an electrode at which oxidation takes place. Cathode is an electrode at which reduction takes place. Both cathode and anode are going to be converted into terminals of potentiometer. Cathode is going to be connected to negative terminal and anode is going to be connected to positive terminal in electrolytic cell. In voltaic cell that will be reversed. Okay. It is very important to give the interconnection between the solution present in the cathodic container and that present in the anodic container. So we need a salt bridge. So salt bridge is present here. This is an U-shaped glass tube containing saturated solution of KCl. This will eliminate the direct interaction between silver nitrate and zinc chloride or any other solution if we use in different electrochemical cell. The direct interaction between the solutions present in different containers or two of cells will be avoided by means of salt bridge. This salt bridge is having porous freights at the two ends. This is one porous freight and this is the other porous freight. And this porous freight allow the movement of the ions of the salt bridge into this container and into this container. So it is required to eliminate the liquid junction potential. Let us discuss about that later. So saturated KCl is present in this salt bridge. KCl undergo dissociation or ionization to get converted into K plus ion and Cl minus ion. K plus ion will migrate towards this container and chloride ion will migrate towards this container. So these two are porous plates. Through these porous plates, ions of the salt bridge will be migrating. Okay. So this is going to be the components of the electrochemical cell. One will be anode and other one will be the cathode. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the electrochemical cell. Diagrammatic representation of the electrochemical cell. So cathode will be present at the right hand side, anode will be present at the right hand side. You need a solution into which the electrode is immersed. You need a solution here into which the electrode is immersed. Here silver nitrate is the solution, so silver rod has been immersed. Here zinc chloride solution is immersed, so zinc rod is the electrode. So here oxidation going to be takes place. So probably zinc is going to be converted into zinc 2 plus. Here reduction is going to be takes place. So silver ion is going to be converted into silver, elemental silver. So anode is the electrode at which oxidation takes place. So zinc is going to be converted into zinc 2 plus with the consequent releasing 2 electrons. Similarly, at the cathode, reduction takes place where silver ion going to capture 1 electron to get converted into solid silver or elemental silver. The change in potential is due to this overall reaction. Anodic and cathodic reactions are taking place. Due to these parallel reactions or simultaneous reactions, the overall reaction can be written as zinc plus 2Ag plus gives rise to 2Ag plus zinc 2 plus. This is the redox reaction. This is the oxidation reaction. This is the reduction reaction. This is the overall redox reaction. So the electrochemical potential, what you are going to measure is going to be conventionally due to this overall reaction, means reduction and oxidation reaction what has been takes place. Okay, This is going to be the diagrammatic representation of the electrochemical cell, what we will use. This can be written in a simplest form, very simple form. That simplest form is called as shorthand notation or systematic notation. This is the schematic. This is the schematic of the electrochemical cell. And what I have presented here, this is called as shorthand or systematic representation of the electrochemical cell. Okay. You consider this electrochemical cell, schematic of the electrochemical cell. This is the overall electrochemical cell. This can be divided into two half cells. One is left half cell and the other one is right half cell. You cut this into two equal halves. One is left half cell and the second one is right half cell. Left half cell is containing anode, right half cell is containing cathode. Always by convention, left half cell is going to be anode, right half cell is going to be cathode. So here zinc electrode is immersed in the anode, in the anodic container. Zinc electrode is going to be immersed. You just write zinc electrode, which is solid, because it is electrode. Zinc electrode is going to be solid, which is immersed into zinc chloride solution. Zinc electrode is immersed into zinc chloride solution. Zinc electrode is immersed into zinc chloride solution. What is the concentration of zinc chloride? 0.0167 molar, which is prepared in water. Aqueous solution of 0.0167 molar solution of zinc chloride is used to immerse zinc rod. Next. So this completes the left half of the cell, left half of the electrochemical cell. So anode of cell, cathode of cell, oxidation of cell, reduction of cell. Come to the cathodic of cell or reduction of cell. Silver nitrate is the aqueous solution of concentration 0.1 molar into which silver rod has been immersed. Silver rod has been immersed. Okay. So we can distinguish this. This is a schematic representation. This is the systematic or shorthand notation. What is the significance of this? There is a single line. There is a double line. Right? Similarly here also single line. What does this means? The vertical single line indicates there is a phase boundary between zinc and zinc chloride. Means there is an interface between zinc and zinc chloride. Zinc chloride is the solution, zinc is the electrode. There is an interface, there is a phase boundary between zinc and zinc chloride. So that is indicated by the single slash. Double slash indicates there is existence of the salt bridge, because you need to give the interconnection between zinc chloride and silver nitrate for the redox reaction to be taken place, or for the interaction, possible interaction is required. A possible interaction is required in order to generate the potential difference. So that is initiated by using the salt bridge. So this double slash indicates the salt bridge. And again, this single slash indicates there is an interface between the electrode and the silver nitrate solution. Okay. In some other electrochemical cells, there will be comma. I will show you. Where is that? You can see this electrochemical cell. Left of anodic of cell, right of cathodic of cell. You can see here silver rod has been immersed into hydrochloric acid solution of concentration 0.1 molar, which is also having saturated silver chloride. Left of cell or anodic of cell is not only containing 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid but also silver chloride. Similarly, you can see the right of cell. Platinum electrode has been immersed into ferrichloride solution of concentration 0.05 molar, and it is not only containing ferrichloride solution but also ferrous chloride solution of concentration 0.01 molar. Okay, this is the schematic representation. This is the systematic or shorthand notation of this electrochemical cell. Single slash indicates there is an interface. There is an interface between silver and hydrochloric acid and silver chloride solution. Double slash indicates there is a existence of the salt bridge to give the interconnection between AgCl ferric chloride or HCl or ferric chloride or ferrous chloride. What does this comma indicate here? There are two commas here. One comma between hydrochloric acid and silver chloride, and the other comma is in between ferric chloride and ferrous chloride solution. So what is this? This comma indicates two different species are present in the same phase. So this is the same phase, silver chloride and hydrochloric acid. Ferric chloride and ferrous chloride are present in the same phase. They are present in the single container. They have not been separated. Means they are present in the same phase. So this comma indicates ferrous chloride and ferric chloride solutions are present in the same phase, same aqueous phase. Silver chloride and hydrochloric acid are present in the same phase, same aqueous phase. So therefore, in the systematic representation or shorthand notation, single vertical slash indicates there is a phase boundary between, there is an interface between the electrode and the solution. Double vertical slash indicates there is existence of the salt bridge, and a comma indicates two different species, because comma here is present between two different species. One is FeCl2 and another one is FeCl3. This comma indicates these two species are present in the same phase. So therefore, the schematic representation is always impossible to draw because it will kill time. So duration required to draw this diagram will be more when compared to depiction of the shorthand notation or systematic representation. Therefore, this is how we can represent systematically and schematically the given electrochemical cells. So by convention, any electrochemical cell you are going to represent, it will have two off cells. One will be anodic off cell and the other one will be cathodic off cell. Anodic off cell is the off cell at which always oxidation is anticipated, and in the cathodic off cell the reduction is going to be anticipated. The interconnection between the solution present in the cathode and the anode are given by the salt bridge. If you avoid the use of salt bridge and you directly interconnect both the solutions, what will happen? Short circuiting takes place, and rapid mixing up of these two solutions takes place, and there will be rapid or spontaneous completion of the chemical reaction takes place. We will not be in a position to find out the equivalence point. So in order to avoid this, and more importantly, there will be generation of the liquid junction potential. This liquid junction potential is a miscellaneous potential that will become responsible to deviate the original potential, what we are going to anticipate, what we are expecting. That will be erratic. So in order to avoid this liquid junction potential, in order to avoid the spontaneous mixing up of these two solutions, we will be using the salt bridge in any electrochemical cells. Right? Okay, this is about the schematic and the systematic representation of the electrochemical cells. You can see here, this is a electrochemical cell what I have represented earlier. You can write it this. So in the first electrochemical cell here, two reactions I have written. One is the anodic reaction and the other one is cathodic reaction. Anodic reaction is nothing but it will depict the oxidation process. Cathodic reaction is nothing but it will show the reduction process. So zinc, which was present in the left half cell, and silver, which was present in the right half cell, zinc undergo oxidation to get converted into zinc 2 plus by releasing 2 electrons, and silver undergo reduction by getting captured with 1 electron. So therefore we have proposed the chemical reaction here, and the overall reaction if you write zinc plus 2 silver ions gives rise to 2 silver elemental form and divalent zinc. Like this, for this particular electrochemical reaction, you identify the cathode and the anode, and you can write the cathodic reaction and the anodic reaction, and ultimately the overall reaction. For this particular electrochemical cell, what is the oxidation reaction? What is the reduction reaction going to be taken place? And you write the shorthand notation for this particular electrochemical cell. Here, silver is an anode, means it is immersed into hydrochloric acid solution and silver chloride saturated solution. It should undergo oxidation. What is oxidation? Oxidation is nothing but releasing up of electrons. So silver is going to oxidize to get converted into silver ion with a consequent releasing of 1 electron. So which is the species capable of undergoing reduction here? Iron 2 will only oxidize to get converted into iron 3. So this will not undergo reduction. Ferric chloride means iron 3. it is having the capability to undergo reduction because this is going to be the cathode, because this half cell is present in the right hand side. So iron 3 undergo reduction to get converted to iron 2. So iron 2 again it will not be converted into iron because this solution is very rich in ferrous chloride. So ferric chloride is going to be converted into ferrous chloride. So the reduction reaction is conversion of ferric chloride to ferrous chloride. Oxidation reaction is conversion of Ag to Ag plus. Similarly, overall reaction you write, then shorthand notation you can write.